Hey there, travel enthusiasts! Ready to explore the best of the UK? Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a hilarious and informative journey through the top 30 places you absolutely must visit in the United Kingdom. From the cobbled streets of Edinburgh to the bright lights of London, we're covering it all. We're talking castles, beaches, history, and enough tea to sink a ship. And don't worry, I'll be your cheeky chappy tour guide, cracking jokes and sharing some fun facts along the way. So grab your brolly, put on your best British accent, and let's get the show on the road. Get ready to fall in love with the charm, the history, and maybe even the food. Okay, the food might be a stretch, but the rest is spot on. This is your ultimate guide to the UK's hidden gems and iconic landmarks. Let's go, you lot. First up, it's London, baby, the big smoke. We're kicking things off with the classics, starting with Big Ben. Now, I know what you're thinking, James. Big Ben's been under construction for ages, and you're right, it has. But guess what? She's back, and she's looking as grand as ever. Well, most of her is. Still a bit of scaffolding here and there. But hey, even Big Ben needs a little facelift now and then, right? Next, we're hopping on the London Eye, that giant Ferris wheel that gives you the best views of the city. I'm talking panoramic, Instagram-worthy views. Just try not to drop your phone while you're snapping those selfies. From the Eye, you can see everything: Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament, the River Thames. It's enough to make you want to break out into a chorus of, "God save the Queen!" Or, just grab a pint and enjoy the view. Your choice. Next, we're off to Edinburgh, Scotland's capital city, known for kilts, bagpipes, and a fairy tale castle. Perched high, it overlooks the entire city. Edinburgh's Fringe Festival is the world's largest arts festival. It's like a giant party in the streets. Edinburgh is full of surprises. Grab a dram of whiskey and experience the magic. Alright, buckle up lads, we're off to Stonehenge. Now, I've been to a lot of places in my time, met a lot of celebrities, even had Adele rapping in my carpool karaoke, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the mystery of Stonehenge. I mean, these massive stones just chilling in a field. Who put them there? Aliens? Giant druids with a passion for interior design? We just don't know. And you know what? That's what makes it so blooming brilliant. It's like the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle, but someone lost the instructions centuries ago. But seriously, you can't help but feel a certain energy standing there, like you're part of something ancient and magical. It's enough to make you want to grab a few mates, build a bonfire, and start chanting at the moon. Don't actually do that though. The gift shop closes at 5. Next up, we're off to Bath, and no, I don't mean for a quick scrub in the tub. This Bath is a city, and it's absolutely smashing. Elegant Georgian architecture, honey-colored buildings, and clean streets. The real star is the Roman baths, built by the Romans. It's like a giant swimming pool from 2,000 years ago. Wander around, soak up the atmosphere, and pretend you're chilling with the Romans. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're off to the Lake District. This place is like something out of a fairy tale. Rolling hills, sparkling lakes, more shades of green than you can shake a stick at. The air is fresh, the views are breathtaking. Go for a hike, rent a boat, or try water sports. Or find a cozy pub, grab a pint, and soak up the tranquility. Alright, me old mucker, buckle up because we're off to York. This place is like stepping into a history book, but with better snacks. I'm talking Yorkshire pudding, obviously. First up, York Minster. This cathedral is absolutely massive. It's like they built it for giants. You could fit about 1,000 double-decker buses in there. Not that I've tried or anything. And the stained glass windows, absolutely stunning, like a kaleidoscope designed by Michelangelo. And then there's the shambles. Imagine the most charming street you've ever seen. Cobbled streets, wonky buildings, and more tea shops than you can shake a stick at. You half expect a knight in shining armor to come galloping around the corner, although he'd probably get stuck in the narrow alleyways, to be fair. Honestly, York is like a fairy tale city come to life. Just picture yourself strolling through those medieval streets, a nice cuppa in hand, maybe a fat rascal biscuit. Oh, bliss. Next stop, Cambridge. Home to one of the most famous universities in the world, the one with all the clever clogs. You can practically smell the brainpower in the air. That, or the punting accidents on the River Cam. Speaking of punting, it's a must-do in Cambridge. Imagine yourself gracefully gliding down the river, a picnic basket at your side, maybe reciting some Shakespeare. Or maybe just trying not to fall in. Either way, it's a laugh. And the colleges themselves are like something out of a movie. Grand courtyards, ancient libraries, secret societies. Okay, maybe not the secret societies, but you never know. You might even bump into a future Nobel Prize winner, or at least someone who looks like they've read a book in the last week. So grab your thinking cap and your best tweed jacket, we're off to Cambridge. Just try not to start any intellectual debates with the students, they can be a bit intense. Now, we can't talk about Cambridge without mentioning its arch nemesis, its rival, well, you get the picture, yes, it's Oxford, home to the other really famous university, and let me tell you, these two cities have been battling it out for centuries. It's like the academic version of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Who's got the better buildings? Who's got the smarter students? Who throws the wildest parties? It's a tough call. But rivalries aside, Oxford is a truly stunning city. From the iconic Radcliffe camera, which looks like a giant round library, to the Bridge of Sighs, which looks suspiciously like the one in Venice, but don't tell them that. Oxford is steeped in history, charm, and enough pubs to satisfy even the thirstiest scholar. Just don't ask anyone who they support in the boat race, unless you've got a few hours to spare. Alright lads and ladies, buckle up because we're headed to Liverpool, land of the Beatles, those four lads who made music history, you know? We're talking bigger than One Direction, bigger than, well, you get the picture. First stop, gotta be the iconic Cavern Club. This is where it all began for the Fab Four, strumming their guitars, belting out tunes, you know, the usual band stuff. It's like stepping back in time, minus the bell-bottoms and peace signs, though I wouldn't mind bringing back the peace signs. And if you want a proper view of this historic city, hop on the Mersey ferry. It's like a giant yellow duck taking you for a cruise down the river. You can even hum Ferry Cross the Mersey and pretend you're a rock star. Don't worry, I won't judge. Oh, and did I mention football? Liverpool lives and breathes football. Anfield, home of Liverpool FC, is a must-see for any footy fan. Just don't mention Everton. It's a sensitive subject, trust me. Next up, we're off to Manchester. Now this city's got it all, football, music, and more football. Okay, maybe not just football, but it's a big deal here. We're talking Manchester United, Manchester City, two giants battling it out on the pitch. Speaking of giants, the Arndale Centre, it's massive, like a shopping center on steroids. Perfect for a good old browse and maybe a cheeky Nando's. You can't go wrong with a bit of Nando's, can you? But Manchester isn't all football and shopping, oh no. It's also got a banging music scene. Oasis, the Smiths, Joy Division, all legends born and bred right here. Take a stroll down the northern quarter, soak up the atmosphere, and you might even catch the next big thing. And if you fancy a laugh, check out a show at the Frog and Bucket Comedy Club. It's a right laugh, I'm telling you. Just don't blame me if you end up on stage doing stand-up, yeah? Right, pack your kilts and your best jokes. We're off to Glasgow, Scotland's biggest city, and let me tell you, they know how to have a good time. Forget your fancy cocktails. Here it's all about a wee dram of whiskey. Don't worry, I'll have one with you. Now, Glasgow's got culture coming out of its ears. The Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum is a must-see. It's got everything from dinosaurs to Dolly, so something for everyone, even if you're not a museum buff. And for all you music lovers, Glasgow's got a cracking live music scene. King Tut's Wah Wah Hut is legendary. It's like a rite of passage for bands on their way to the top. You never know who you might see grace the stage. Oh, and before I forget, the food. Forget your deep-fried Mars bars, although those are a Glasgow classic. You've got to try haggis. It's like Scotland's national dish, and trust me, it's tastier than it sounds. Alright, chuck on your best daffodil hat and grab a dragon. We're off to Cardiff. This place is like the cool cousin of the UK, you know? The one with the great stories and the even better accent. First up, Cardiff Castle. This bad boy's got it all. Roman ruins, Victorian Gothic architecture, even a clock tower that wouldn't look out of place in a Disney film. I hear they've even got a goat that roams the grounds. Don't quote me on that though. Now, when you're done channeling your inner medieval monarch, head down to Cardiff Bay. It's like they took all the charm of a seaside town, threw in some modern architecture and said, let's have a right laugh. You can catch a show at the Wales Millennium Center, grab some grub at one of the many restaurants, or just stroll along the waterfront and soak it all in. Just watch out for seagulls trying to nick your chips. Next stop, Belfast. This city's got a bit of everything, history, culture, and a charm that'll make you want to break out your best Irish jig. Speaking of history, let's talk about the Titanic. You can't go to Belfast without visiting the Titanic Museum. It's an absolute must-see, even if you're not a history buff. They've got everything from interactive exhibits to actual artifacts from the ship. You'll be saying Celine Dion before you know it. But Belfast is more than just the Titanic, mate. The city's got a buzz about it, a real energy. Head down to the Cathedral Quarter for some of the best pubs and live music in the UK. And if you're looking for something a bit more, shall we say, alternative, check out the street art scene. Belfast's got some seriously talented artists, and their work is plastered all over the city. Right then, pack your buckets and spades, we're off to Brighton. This place is like the love child of a beach town and a hipster haven. It's got a bit of an edge, but in a good way, you know? First things first, you gotta check out the Brighton Pier. It's an absolute icon, with its flashing lights, arcade games, and enough fried food to satisfy even the hungriest of holidaymakers. Now, after you've had your fill of candy floss and dodgems, head over to the lanes. This labyrinth of narrow streets is a shopper's paradise with everything from vintage clothing to quirky souvenirs. And if you're feeling peckish, you're in luck. Brighton's got a food scene that's off the charts. From fish and chips by the sea to Michelin-starred restaurants, there's something for everyone. Just try not to get sand in your sandwiches, eh? Chuck on your comfy shoes and grab your best Chaucer because we're off to Canterbury. This place is like stepping into a history book, but with better snacks. First up, Canterbury Cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a medieval masterpiece, where Archbishop Thomas Becket took a very unfortunate tumble. The streets of Canterbury are absolutely lousy with history. Timber-framed houses older than your nan's best china, cobblestone streets that'll give your ankles a workout, and enough quaint little pubs to keep you watered for a week. Don't forget to try a Canterbury tart while you're there. You can thank me later. Next stop, Windsor, home of Windsor Castle, one of the Queen's many houses. This ain't your average semi-detached. It's like Buckingham Palace had a baby with Hogwarts. Over 1,000 years of history here, folks. Kings and queens have walked these halls. But it's not all about the castle. Windsor is a charming town with lovely shops and cafes. Take a boat trip down the River Thames, grab a bite at one of the many restaurants, from Michelin-starred dining to fish and chips. Hold on to your doublets and petticoats, folks, because we're off to Stratford-upon-Avon, the birthplace of William Shakespeare. First things first, you gotta visit Shakespeare's birthplace. It's literally the house where he was born. But Stratford-upon-Avon isn't just about Shakespeare. You can also visit Anne Hathaway's cottage, Shakespeare's wife's charming home. And if you're feeling theatrical, catch a show at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Alright, buckle up, Buttercup, we're off to the Cotswolds. This place is like stepping into a postcard, honestly. Rolling hills, honey-colored cottages, and more sheep than you can shake a shepherd's crook at. It's so idyllic you half expect Mary Poppins to float by. Rain or shine, the Cotswolds are a treat. Imagine wandering through charming villages like Chipping Campden, and don't even get me started on the pubs. Cozy fireplaces, local ales, maybe even a pub quiz. For a quintessentially British escape, look no further than the Cotswolds. Next stop, Newcastle, a city bursting with energy, history, and Geordie charm. The nightlife here is legendary. Buzzing bars, clubs till dawn, and good times. But it's not just about the party scene. Iconic landmarks like the Tyne Bridge and Gray's Monument. And the Angel of the North, the Geordie Statue of Liberty. Newcastle's got something for everyone. Ahoy there, mateys! We're setting sail for Bristol, a city that's as vibrant and eclectic as a parrot wearing a raincoat. Speaking of street art, you can't mention Bristol without mentioning Banksy. Take a stroll across the iconic Clifton Suspension Bridge, or hop aboard a boat and explore the city from the water. It's all part of Bristol's charm. All right, Nottingham, home of Robin Hood, the tights-wearing, arrow-shooting legend. Stealing from the rich, giving to the poor, the whole shebang. Nottingham's not just about a bloke in tights though. It's got a proper castle, a bustling city center, and enough pubs to keep you watered like a prize-winning garden. And speaking of water, did you know Nottingham's got a network of underground caves? Like a giant, echoey cheese board under the city. So, get yourself to Nottingham. Next up, Leeds. Now Leeds is known for its shopping, right? And when I say shopping, I don't mean a quick nip to the corner shop for a pint of milk and a packet of hobnobs. We're talking massive shopping centers, designer boutiques, vintage shops bursting with flares, the whole 9 yards. You could easily spend your life savings in Leeds, and trust me, I've tried. But fear not, my friends, Leeds is not a one-trick pony. It's got culture too. Theaters, art galleries, museums. They've even got a royal armory. Who needs shopping when you can look at shiny swords and suits of armor, eh? Although, saying that, a new pair of shoes wouldn't hurt. Leeds. It's a right laugh, that's what it is. So put on your comfy shoes, grab your credit card, or your debit card if you're being sensible, which I never am, and get ready to shop till you drop. Birmingham, the second city, the belly button of England. Okay, maybe not the belly button, but it's right in the middle, innit? And let me tell you, Birmingham's got it going on. First off, canals. Did you know Birmingham's got more canals than Venice? It's true. And they're not just for show. Oh no, you can go for a lovely canal boat ride, have a romantic gondola. Well, maybe not a gondola. But you can have a lovely time. Put it that way. And the food. Oh, the food. Birmingham is a melting pot of cultures, and that means one thing. Delicious grub. Indian, Pakistani, Chinese, Italian, you name it, Birmingham's got it. And the best part is, it's all proper good. So there you have it. Birmingham, canals, curry, and culture. What more could you want? Well, apart from maybe a gondola. But you can't have it all, can you? Right then, buckle up, Buttercup. We're off to Dover. Dover is home to these absolutely massive, gleaming white cliffs. Seriously impressive chalky bad boys here. They're like a giant natural welcome to Britain sign. And the best part? You can actually walk along the top of them. Dover's not just about the cliffs, mind you. They've also got this cracking castle, Dover Castle. So, if you're a history buff or just fancy a good old ramble, Dover's the place to be. Pack your hiking boots and your sense of adventure because we're off to the Isle of Skye. This place is like something out of a fairy tale with its rugged mountains, windswept valleys, and those locks. Oh, those locks. Check out the ferry pools. Crystal clear turquoise pools cascading down rocks. After a long day, you'll need a wee dram to warm you up. The Isle of Skye is home to some of the finest whiskey distilleries. So pull up a chair, get cozy by the fire, and savor the smoky, peaty goodness. It's all part of the charm of the Isle of Skye. Ahoy there, mateys! Next stop is Cornwall, land of stunning coastlines and the mighty Cornish pasty. Proper pasties filled with steak, potatoes, swede, and a secret ingredient. Imagine strolling a sandy beach with a piping hot pasty. Cornwall also boasts some of the best surfing in the UK. Brave the waves, then reward yourself with a cream tea. Remember, jam first, then clotted cream. Cornwall's wild side includes rugged cliffs and pirate tales. Legend says Blackbeard once sailed these waters. Alright, lads and ladies, buckle up because we're off to Aberdeen, Scotland. They call it the Granite City, and no, not because they're a bunch of grumpy gits. They're made of this sparkly gray granite that shines like a disco ball on a sunny day. And speaking of shining, Aberdeen's got a beach. You can practically smell the salt and vinegar from your hotel room. Now, if you fancy a bit of history with your fish and chips, Aberdeen's got you covered. So there you have it. Aberdeen history, beaches, castles, and enough granite to build a small country. Oh right, and maybe a wee dram of whiskey to keep you warm. Next stop, Inverness, the capital of the Scottish Highlands, like something out of a postcard. Rolling hills, sparkling lochs, and more sheep than you can shake a stick at. You can't go to Inverness without visiting the legendary Loch Ness, home of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Picture-perfect scenery, folks. It's enough to take your breath away. Inverness is a charming city with a lively atmosphere. Explore the cobbled streets and grab a bite at a local pub. Alright, chuck another lump of coal on the fire, love, we're headed to Sheffield. Now, you might think of steel when you hear Sheffield, and you wouldn't be wrong, they built half the cutlery in the world back in the day. But these days, Sheffield's traded in its hard hat for a beret, darling. It's like that mate who used to be all about lifting weights and downing pints, but now he's got a sourdough starter and practices mindfulness. They've got more theaters per capita than anywhere outside of London. And the art scene, let's just say Banksy's got some competition. But don't worry, they haven't gone all posh and forgot their roots. You can still find proper pubs with proper pints, and the people are as down to earth as ever. So go on, give Sheffield a whirl, you won't be disappointed. Next stop, St. Ives. This place is like the love child of a postcard and an art gallery, absolutely smashing. You've got these gorgeous beaches, the kind that make you want to ditch your phone, grab an ice cream, and just soak it all in. And then there's the art scene. This place is crawling with artists, all drawn in by that special St. Ives light. Apparently it's like magic for painting, although I reckon a good cuppa does the trick just as well. But hey, who am I to judge? You can spend your days wandering through galleries, stumbling upon hidden coves, and then treating yourself to a cream tea. And if you're feeling adventurous, hop on a boat and try to spot some seals. Just watch out for the seagulls. They're right, cheeky buggers, always after your chips. And there you have it, folks. The top 30 places to visit in the United Kingdom. Whether you're a history buff, a nature lover, or just looking for a good time, the UK has something for everyone. We've scaled mountains in the Scottish Highlands, scoffed scones in quaint villages, and even braved the occasional downpour. Because let's face it, it wouldn't be a British adventure without a spot of rain, would it? So pack your bags, grab your brolly, and get ready for an unforgettable journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more travel tips and adventures. Cheers!